Okay, let me recap a few things and make sure that you understand what was just covered in that first video, and I can deal with a few frequently asked questions at the same time. I said that my plan involves building a network of people, and when I say that, the first question that usually comes up is where exactly do these people come from? The answer is they can come from anywhere, really. Most people usually start, I know I did, within their own circle. And these are your friends, family members, and contacts, business associates, or anybody who you come across every day who, during the natural course of conversation, you find out that they're open to something like this. And you know, most people are surprised when they find out how many folks they know right now who are looking for ways to make some extra money. And maybe they've had a salary cut at their current job and they have to do something to make up the difference. Maybe they want to replace their income altogether with something that has a lot more potential, particularly in terms of security. Well, the funny thing about network marketing is that it's such a simple way for people to earn money for doing what most of us do naturally. And that's recommending something that we like to a friend, or in many cases, somebody you just met at church or at the grocery store or on the internet for that matter. Facebook and some of these social media sites are a fantastic way to connect with other people and share what it is you do. And of course, everyone you talk to knows at least 50 or 100 or 200 people themselves. And when you've got something really hot like this, it spreads very quickly. Now, another thing that usually comes up is that a lot of people, when they think of network marketing, they immediately think of Amway or some little Mickey Mouse company where you're selling jewelry or going door to door and peddling makeup or vitamins. And so the question that always comes up is what makes Nu Skin any different than all the other network marketing companies out there? And to me, there are two things primarily. First of all, the consumer markets behind a company are the most important thing, no question about it, because it's those markets that drive the demand. In other words, you can have a really good company, but if it's built around a limited, narrow consumer market, like, for example, all these network marketing companies that sell these superfruit juices like mangosteen or goji berry, well, your market is going to be limited to a very small niche of consumers. Now, by contrast to that, Nu Skin is positioned within a huge global mass market, the anti-aging market. Now, we know that as people age, they're spending money to stay young. In fact, last year in the United States, almost 100 million consumers purchased anti-aging products. Now, let that sink in for just a minute. 100 million consumers. And when you realize that almost half of them were under the age of 40, and that in the next 5 years, the anti-aging industry is projected to grow by another 76%, you know you're positioned in a market that's very, very profitable. Now, the other thing that separates Nu Skin from other companies is their 25-year track record as an industry leader. And of course, this is the stability factor of Nu Skin that grows out of their credibility and product innovation. You know, it's hard to imagine, but in the last 40 or 50 years, there have been roughly 60,000 direct selling companies that have started up. And the overwhelming majority of them have failed or just never really got off the ground. And only 11 of the 60,000 have reached $1 billion in sales. Nu Skin is one of them. And then out of all the direct sales companies traded on the New York Stock Exchange, Nu Skin has paid the highest percentage of sales revenues in commissions, more than $6 billion paid out. And that's not to large businesses or to corporate executives, but it's to everyday people just like us. And no other company out there can touch that. A minute ago, I mentioned a track record of product innovation, and I could give you dozens of examples of that innovation. But since we're talking about the anti-aging market, let me just tell you about the most recent discoveries made by the research teams at Nu Skin. And when I say research teams, I don't mean a few employees that are dressed up in white lab coats. Nu Skin has major state-of-the-art laboratories and research centers, over 130 PhD-level scientists on staff. Right now, they have 75 in-house scientists, and they're networked with hundreds of world-class institutions and universities all around the world. Nu Skin regularly spends hundreds of millions of dollars on research and development, and so when they turn up something new, it's usually big news. So when I got a phone call from someone at the company telling me about their latest discovery, I want you to know I got very excited. That discovery is a patented science which they call ageLOC, AGELOC. It's proprietary and it's exclusive only to Nu Skin distributors. Now, I've put some videos on this site which go into a lot more detail on exactly what ageLOC is all about. But basically, it's based on their discovery of their ability to regulate specific genes within your DNA which contribute to aging. In fact, Nu Skin has identified and actually patented these clusters of genes, and they call them youth gene clusters. And they've discovered that with the right product ingredients and formulations, which, by the way, we have, they can literally reset those genes to the same vibrancy they had when you were 20 or 30 years younger. It's all documented, it's all tested and proven. I can personally testify that the product works, and I'm telling you, you should see some of the before and after pictures of people who have been on the ageLOC product for a few months. It's very, very impressive. And it's not just treating the signs of aging in your skin like all these other skincare companies do. It actually addresses aging at its genetic source. So the implications of this discovery are enormous. As a matter of fact, Wall Street started hearing buzz about ageLOC over the last year as Nu Skin was presenting scientific papers in symposiums all around the world, and their stock value skyrocketed. Fox Business News just did a report on their cable network interviewing our CEO, Truman Hunt, and highlighting Nu Skin's growth of over 142% in 1 year. Now that's big news when a company can grow that much during an economic recession. Now, the initial products that include the ageLOC ingredients are just now being released, and this is what's creating all the buzz right now, as people are beginning to realize there's a lot of money to be made over the next 5 to 10 years through this company. Now, I want you to understand something else also. We're not just talking about skincare. Nu Skin is developing a whole line of nutritional supplements that address those sources of aging as well. And we will soon have an entire line of ageLOC products that, when taken orally, will regulate up the genes that promote youthfulness and simultaneously regulate down the genes that accelerate aging. Right now, their research is focused on the brain, the heart, and the muscles and how they can regulate their aging processes by regulating the genes associated with those organs. And this is huge news. And we'll begin seeing some of these products hit the market within months. We are literally on the ground floor looking at an exclusive pipeline of products that are forthcoming all around the ageLOC science. And that spells big opportunity for people who want to join us in taking these products to market right now. So let's talk about that. How does the average person participate in this business? What's involved and how exactly does it work? As I mentioned in our previous video, network marketing is how we're going to do it. Now, most people don't have a clue as to how network marketing actually works. They think it's just a little mom and pop business where you pester your friends and pressure all your relatives to buy stuff from you that they don't really want or need. But this is an entirely different thing altogether. I have spent the last 23 years of my life studying exactly how to make this business work for the average person. And I'm telling you, all the right elements are converging right now with Nu Skin. All a person has to do is build a network of people, connect them to Nu Skin, and they're going to ride this wave of growth for the next 20 years. Now, let me break this down exactly how it can happen. And I want to give you a very visual example of just how simple this business can be. And for that, I want to show you another short video which I put together called How to Make Money Using Network Marketing. What I've done in this video is take a month-to-month progression using very conservative minimum numbers and show you exactly how it's possible to generate thousands of dollars in monthly income in just a few short months. So if you'll click on that video, watch it carefully, and then after the video, I'll wrap this all up with some final thoughts and suggestions.